Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Who the Hell Asked. I am Slade, and
Yeah.
I'm here with Byron.
Hey, what's going on?
And we're going to cover this week's news,
Which has
starting with
been weird.
kind of a weird news week overall.
Yeah.
Let's start with the first tidbit of interesting information. EA announces that Skate is going to go free to play in an interview.
Yes. So developers Full Circle announced in a video on Thursday that first off, the game is just going to be called Skate, stylized with a period. So this isn't technically Skate 4, but this is Skate. And that it's going to be free to play with of course the monetization you would expect, cosmetics and stuff. Which is, I don't know if I want to say it's a good choice. I think it probably is the better choice because I don't think in this market a $70 Skate game would fly.
Yeah, I'm completely with you there. I think the decision to go free to play is one, so they could take advantage of their somewhat shady monetization practices, but also, like you said, I just don't see a day and age where, a skateboarding game is going to sell for $70, especially considering I don't even think the price point for the Tony Hawk Pro Skater remakes were even quite that.
I believe it was, I think 30 or 40.
Yeah, so I think in this case scenario, the free to play, the decision to go free to play was very necessary.
Yep, and it will be on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC with cross-play and cross-progression, which is always a plus for a free-to-play, more than likely probably multiplayer only. And that's my other reason why I believe they went the free-to-play route, because it's probably going to be more than likely multiplayer only or heavily multiplayer.
They've also made some statements that they want it to be very clear that it's not a pay-to-win game. The microtransactions are primarily going to be about cosmetics and convenience. Convenience, I'm not sure quite what that's going to mean, whether or not it's going to have like the Star Wars Battlefront 2 kind of legacy where you have to play ridiculous amounts of hours and do quite an insane grind to unlock things.
Yeah,
And maybe paying
I
money
think,
will make it more convenient.
Yeah, I think they've learned from having the most downvoted Reddit comment of all time and the shit show that was Battlefront 2. I think they've learned from this. It'll definitely be a great opportunity for skateboarding brands, skateboarding companies to like make a lot of money from this game because people are fucking looking forward to Skate. They've been hungering for a Skate comeback. And that apparently this is also going to be on mobile? Or they plan to launch it on mobile? Which is interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting considering that I think this is the first skate game that's been made since the Pro Skater remakes. Or remasters, I should say.
It's been like
obviously
it's been like a decade since we've gotten a Skate game.
that's true. What is it? 2015 was the last one.
I think 2014 maybe.
It was like at least 6 or 7 years ago. I know that much, but yeah, gonna be pretty crazy, all things considering.
Yep, and they did show as you can see on screen, this is a screenshot of a quote pre-alpha gameplay. That's a term I've never heard before.
Guessing it's like early development. They should just call it early.
Yeah, like polygonal looking people, not colored, with like generic looking clothing and skateboards. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Concept alpha or something.
Yeah.
But either way, interesting news. Like I was saying, it just the decision to go free to play seems to make a lot of sense. So,
considering
only time will tell what the monetization will be like.
Yep, and apparently there will be something called the collab zones, which are areas that can be collaboratively collaboratively built by players. So there will be some creative stuff, like make your
Which
own.
is pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. But yeah, looking forward to seeing more news about this. Maybe I give it a try. I don't fucking know. Maybe, but
All right, let's move on to probably the biggest news of the week. Probably the big dumpster fire.
the most
That is Unity.
controversial. That's right. So
Yeah.
so first off,
Unity has acquired / entered an agreement to merge with ironSource.
that's right. That's right. ironSource is a ad company, and it also does some other things. And we've covered some of the other acquisitions that Unity has done, mainly Weta Digital, and of course the biggest one probably since this one, because of the news, Parsec, which was an interesting acquisition. But there's a reason people are pissed about this acquisition, and that's because Unity is merging with a company who made a malware installer. What do you think of that, Slade?
That's definitely not very good. I would even go as far to say as that is highly questionable at best. Obviously, with the company that's on record having made malware in the past,
that
doesn't provide a lot of consumer confidence.
Yeah, and even game developers who use Unity are less than thrilled about the merger. Andrea Gatta, who runs game porting studio Spellcat, tweeted out, "A game engine is the thing that you use to build and distribute games to devices. The vendors of those devices, like Apple, need to trust that the engine is not bundling bad things along with the game. Merging with a company that specializes in bundling malware is what the fuck?" Or as Maddie Thornton, which that's a big name in the indie world, the maker of Towerfall Ascension and Celeste, succinctly put it, "Man, fuck Unity."
Oh yeah. So obviously this wasn't very good news on its own, but don't worry, it gets worse.
Yes, it fucking does.
Unity CEO had some very interesting comments. Mr. John, I can't really pronounce
John
the last name.
Rissicitilo, or however. Keep in mind, former EA CEO during the Xbox 360 PS3 generation. Want to throw that detail out there because that'll become relevant later.
The guy primarily responsible and behind the scenes for Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Not Battlefront 2, Battlefront 1, I think, at the very least.
Okay, either way, a lot of EA's very terrible direction, he was 100% behind it.
Yes.
His quote, "Devs who shun monetization are pure, brilliant, and fucking idiots."
Yes, and in that interview, he started off by making the comparison to Ferrari, saying Ferrari and some other high-end car manufacturers still use clay and carving knives. It's a very small portion of the gaming industry that works that way. And some of these people are my favorite people in the world to fight with. They're the most beautiful and pure, brilliant people. They're also some of the biggest fucking idiots. And goes on to talk about the philosophy of monetization and stuff, which, to an extent, like that is something game developers do need to worry about to an extent. Probably could have worded it better, IMO, and quite frankly, the rest of the internet either like just saw the headline and went, "What the fuck?" Which, to an extent, yeah, you could go like, "What the fuck?" But even with the context, it's not great. It's not a great looking.
Absolutely not. So, obviously, this gentleman is very pro monetization. Problem is, he's not being completely open and honest with how deep he supports monetization, including shady monetization and
well, he seemed pretty open fucking here.
Yeah, here he was like wide open, which is absolutely insane.
Yeah, let me read the quote again. They're the most brilliant and pure brilliant, most beautiful and pure brilliant people. They're also some of the biggest fucking idiots.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. So, from what I recall, he had some more interviews afterwards or some Twitter responses where he tried to kind of backpedal his stance, first saying that it was taken out of the full context.
Which we just
But-
read the full or most of the full context on the show, and we showed the context on the screen.
Yeah.
And of course, continually roasting in the comments. But then he put out a full-fledged apology
Mhm.
with 4 points, and I will read all 4 of those right now. First, he has a great respect for game developers. The work they do is amazing. The creativity can be incredible, whether on a AAA console, mobile, or indie game designed to be played by millions, or a creative project, a game made just for the sheer joy of it. Second, one thing I have seen is that most game devs work incredibly hard and want people to play their game, to enjoy it, and, when appropriate, for players to engage deeply. For the game devs I have worked most closely with, there's often anxiety about whether players will love the game and appreciate all the work and love that went into making it. Third, sometimes all a game developer wants is to have a handful of friends enjoy the game. Art for art's sake and art for friends. Others want player money to buy the game or game items so they can make a living. Both of these motivations are noble. I agree with that. Fourth, what I was trying to say and clearly failed at saying, yeah, you don't fucking think, calling people both a backhanded compliment, basically. Like, you're beautiful and pure, but you're a fucking idiot. But, is that there are better ways for game developers to get an early read on what players think of their game, to learn from their feedback, and, if the developer wants, to adjust the game based on this feedback. It's a choice to listen and act, or just listen. Again, both are very valid choices. If I had been smarter in choosing my words, I would have said just this. We are working to provide developers with tools so they can better understand what their players think, and it is up to them to act or not based on this feedback. Anyway, that's it. Lots of words and a sentence that I wish I had never said.
Yeah.
Woo!
So
let's take it. Let's take it all.
I think these points are all clearly good points, all 4
Yes.
of them.
Yep.
But the problem is again, he's not giving the full picture behind his comments. He's kind of lying to an extent.
To an extent.
We all know that in the end, it's not about player feedback and the quality of the game. To this gentleman, none of that matters.
Yes.
He is more harping on the idea that games need to have more aggressive monetization so that they could drive bigger profits and whatnot.
Yeah, like the biggest.
That's all he was getting at originally.
Yeah, like the biggest
Pretend
thing
to do otherwise is just blasphemous.
Yeah, like the biggest example people have like thrown around in the past week or so is like, oh, what if you charge players $1 to reload?
Jesus.
Like, that's one of the most ridiculous things. Like, that's an extreme example, but it's like, you never know. But not a good look for Unity. A lot of game developers who are obviously the most important customer for a game engine, and Unity is one of the 2 biggest game engines in the world. That's not like a company-made engine. Are saying like, "Oh, fuck your game engine," and then of course the acquisition of a malware company, a company who has in the past made malware. It's not been a good week for Unity, and maybe with all this, a few developers have moved to either creating their own engine, which can be quite expensive, or they went to Unreal, which, while Epic has its own bit of history, at least hasn't had this type of controversy to it.
Yeah. So, overall, not a good look for Unity in either their acquisition or their CEO's comments.
Yeah.
Just, honestly, overall, terrible situation. I sincerely hope, for Unity's sake, that this whole tidbit doesn't just bring them.
Yeah,
under.
this and the quick thing I'll throw in there have been layoffs, of course, at Unity.
Yeah.
And some people have pointed like, oh, the Weta, maybe they shouldn't have acquired Weta Digital for like billions of dollars. Apparently, from what people in the company are saying, like it's not looking like that deal didn't help them at all. So
No. I can't throwing billions at something is
yeah,
hardly ever
if you want to know
sometimes.
more about that acquisition, we covered that months ago at this.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
All right. So speaking of acquisitions, moving on to our next acquisition, Nintendo acquired Dynamo Pictures,
that's right.
a company that helps develop anime and CG. In particular, some of the projects that they've been involved with that are the most notable to me
Yep.
are the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie that is coming out.
Yep.
They helped with production on that. They have also helped with the CG modeling with Yuri on Ice.
Yep.
And
they've done Kingsglaive, the Final
yes,
Fantasy
and
15
they did
movie.
Kingsglaive for Final Fantasy 15, which was they're largely involved in the CG production. They've been involved in a lot of stuff, but those are the things I think that really stuck out to me.
And the One Piece movie number 6.
Yeah, which I think was the latest One Piece movie.
I think it's definitely a recent movie, but yeah, they know what they're doing, and they've been involved in video games because they've also apparently done a Yokai Watch movie.
Yeah, so the main thing that makes this really interesting is now that Nintendo has acquired these guys and they have some, obviously some talent when it comes to all things involving CG and animation and whatnot.
Yes.
I wonder if that means we're going to start seeing a lot more CG in some of their IPs and current series like Mario, Zelda, etc.
I could see that. My thinking, honestly, this could be a bigger push into more multimedia. That's my thinking on this, because obviously...
Also true.
Yeah.
So we could end up seeing like a CG Zelda series or
like a Nintendo anime. I know, Wild Dream, but like maybe a Fire Emblem anime or something.
Oh yeah, to me, I think that's also a very good point because I think they've attempted with a lot of Western companies to get some of these like Zelda series and whatnot out, like with Netflix.
Oh god, yeah,
and
the Netflix.
For some reason or another, those like partnerships didn't work out, so maybe they're just getting a partnership with the company closer to home.
Yep.
But,
the acquisition is expected to close on October 3rd, which is soon. And yeah, maybe we do get more CG. Maybe we get both. Maybe we get both a more multimedia push, and maybe we do get more CG in games like Fire Emblem and stuff.
Yeah, because the interesting thing is, outside of Smash, I don't think Nintendo really dabbled too much into CG before.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Well, there was that F-Zero anime, God knows how long ago, and the Kirby anime.
So this is definitely a very interesting thing that we're going to keep our eyes on moving forward.
Absolutely, yeah. This shocked everybody because Nintendo, out of the big three, that being Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, they typically don't acquire many companies. They acquire companies that they've worked with or have a reason to acquire. And in this case...
and honestly, when it comes to visual content production, usually that's something all the other gaming companies do, like Sony, Square Enix,
Microsoft,
Bandai Namco, Microsoft.
Bandai.
That's something that they usually do, but Nintendo typically has not been really involved with these sorts of things, so it's very fascinating. So I'm definitely looking forward to hearing more about what they're doing on that end.
Yeah, and seeing what comes of this. Because, again, we could get more anime, we could get more CG cutscenes in games like Fire Emblem, and so on and so forth. And, yeah, this is going to be very interesting, won't it, Slade?
Oh, yeah. So, speaking of the interesting, and probably the biggest news of the week, I guess the Unity thing was more controversial than big news. We got a release date announced for Bayonetta 3, as well as a Bayonetta 3 trailer with some more information.
Yeah, that's right. So we got a Bayonetta 3 release date of October, or right, October. We also got, very interestingly, Naive Angel mode.
Yep. So they're going to allow players to choose whether or not they want to play a censored version of the game. It's to quote unquote make it to where you don't feel uncomfortable if somebody walks into your living room while you're playing the game.
Yeah. You can play right in the living room. It's comedic and funny to me. I don't know why it shouldn't be, but it is.
That's a pretty interesting feature. This is, to be honest, this is how I wish censorship was handled in games overall.
Yes.
It just being a toggleable option.
Yep.
Because at that point, if you have it, like, maybe you have it set to, like, the censored version's the default, and then you could switch it off at, like, your own leisure or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then you don't get into, like, hairy situations with, rating companies and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like this is the way that censorship should be handled overall. It should be a toggle.
Yep. I agree. But yeah, Bayonetta is coming out in October, a stacked month. A stacked
28th.
Second half, and Bayonetta fans, you're eating. And speaking of eating, Slade, we got a new Kirby spinoff announced via Twitter this week. Thanks, Nintendo. The Twitter directs are back.
Yep. It seems like the partner showcase was obviously for their
partners.
For the partners, and their Twitter announcing everything else that would have been at E3, which I guess I shouldn't be terribly surprised, but I'm still somewhat surprised. So this game's called Kirby's Dream Buffet.
That's right. Some people have equated this to Fall Guys. I have seen other people equate this to 3D Gourmet Race from Superstar, with a little bit of the Kirby Air Ride element. Because you do 4 races, and then you do a final battle, which is definitely a lot like City Trial in a way. So I guess this is the pseudo Air Ride sequel.
Oh my god!
Yeah, this is the pseudo Air Ride sequel. Oh, and guess who's the starting countdowner? It's Master Hand. It's Master Hand, baby. But yeah, this looks really interesting. According to a tweet from Nintendo of Europe, because even though the Nintendo of America store website says it is single system, according to Nintendo of Europe, it will have online multiplayer, which is great. Great stuff. I am
definitely looking forward to seeing this game later this summer.
Yeah, we didn't get a
honestly,
release
when
date.
I saw it, I got Monkey Ball vibes.
Oh yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's fair.
Thought.
I didn't think of that, but you're not wrong, Slade. There's definitely some Monkey Ball vibes to it. Well, you are in a ball, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right.
Odd that we didn't get a release date for this.
Yeah, I just saw summer 2022.
Yeah.
I tried looking into it to see if we got an exact release date.
Nope, we
didn't find anything.
Nope,
so
we didn't.
It's probably going to be late August or early September.
Yeah, I'd probably say late August, because Nintendo doesn't have anything for August right now. So, like, this is something they could just slot in there. But Nintendo, where the fuck is the Mario Kart DLC?
Oh, yeah. It's just absolutely nowhere to be seen. Speaking of expansions for a game, we did get some news on Pokemon Unite. Its first anniversary is coming up starting July 21st.
Yep.
A lot of interesting content coming. There's going to be 6 Pokemon coming to the game, 3 of which are already announced. Those Pokemon are Tyranitar, Glaceon, and Buzzwole. We don't know who the other 3 are yet. I think we're not going to hear about them until September.
Yep.
There's also a new PvE game mode called Boss Rush. Personally, it's a MOBA, and fighting NPCs in MOBAs has never really been my jam.
Yeah.
Personally. But that's going to come out for people who are excited about that. And then they also announced a new emblem system where you can attach emblems to your Pokemon. They work kind of like how runes did in League of Legends. We don't have a whole lot of info on that right now. All we know is that you'll be able to use your energy to buy them, which is pretty nice considering energy rewards are pretty much worthless right now.
Yes.
So having an actual meaningful unlock behind them now makes it a lot better, in my opinion.
Yep.
But like I said, it's just first anniversary of Pokemon Unite. Looks like they're coming out swinging. It's going to be pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah,
All right,
so
I think that about covers it for news this week, Byron.
yeah, so this was a pretty weird week, considering a lot of downer news for some people, but we did get Kirby.
Yeah, we did get Kirby, and honestly, we got the Bayonetta 3 news.
Yep,
Nintendo's acquisition is very interesting. I think that's going to
Absolutely.
play a much bigger part in Nintendo's future than we realize even now. So,
yeah, very interested to see where that acquisition is going, for sure. But yeah, this has been Byron,
and this has been Slade.
and we will see you all next week for whatever curveball or splitter the game industry throws at us. See you all next week. Bye bye.